Hello, it's great to see you all again. Time travel to the past. One of humanity's greatest dreams, probably only second to achieving immortality. But despite all our yearning, the idea of traveling back in time remains stuck in the realm of imagination. Or maybe that's just what the government wants us to believe. In December 1990, in a remote village somewhere in the northern hemisphere, two Russian scientists embarked on a daring experiment. Their goal? To elevate human consciousness, or what's commonly known as psychic abilities. They created a device designed to shield people from electromagnetic interference while amplifying their bioenergy. This contraption was a massive aluminum coil with a chair smack in the middle. As soon as the device was completed, strange phenomena began occurring around the village. Disc-shaped beams of light hovered around the lab, energy orbs appeared and vanished, and the aurora borealis became so vibrant and dynamic that it seemed almost tangible. Inside the lab, anyone who approached the device felt an inexplicable sense of dread. It took ages to convince someone to actually sit in that chair. And when the final volunteer finally did, a burst of energy erupted, leaving everyone in the lab stunned. The device worked, almost too well. Instead of just boosting psychic abilities, it allowed the person in the chair to observe any location on Earth and then any moment in the past. This isn't just a tall tale. It was reported in a documentary on Russian state television and featured in various articles in Russia and Ukraine. So, did Russian scientists really invent a time machine? And why has it been forgotten, or perhaps even hidden? If you're as curious as I am, go ahead and brew yourself a cup of coffee, hit that like button, and enjoy this video. The device that Fun Fact Finder refers to as a time machine in the mysterious experiment above is called the Kozyrev mirror. Now, you might wonder why it's named after Kozyrev and not someone more famous like Einstein or Newton. Well, that's because it's connected to a Soviet astrophysicist named Nikolai Kozyrev. Kozyrev was born in 1908 in St. Petersburg. A true prodigy, he graduated from university at the young age of 20 and quickly became recognized as one of the Soviet Union's most promising astrophysicists. Unfortunately, in 1936, his life took a dark turn when he got entangled in politics. He was sentenced to 25 years in prison for alleged anti-revolutionary activities and hostile propaganda. Although he was released early in 1946, the damage was done. Kozyrev's time behind bars during the prime of his youth, cut off from all news and scientific publications, dealt a severe blow to his scientific career. Yet, despite falling behind, Kozyrev never gave up on his research. In 1958, he observed traces of volcanic activity on the moon, an observation initially dismissed but later confirmed when the Apollo astronauts landed on the lunar surface. Back in the 1950s, Kozyrev developed a rather controversial theory known as causal mechanics. He believed that time wasn't just a concept, but an actual physical force that could interact with the material world. In his mind, time was like a fluid, flowing through people and objects, permeating all of space. He even thought that time could be molded or compressed by you, me, and everything in the universe. Kozyrev was convinced that time held memories of past events, and if humans could somehow influence this flow of time, we might be able to alter both the past and the future. This theory wasn't just some random idea. It emerged as Kozyrev tried to figure out how the sun radiates energy. He reasoned that massive objects like the sun had a denser concentration of this time substance, interacting more strongly with the flow of time and thus releasing enormous amounts of energy. If all of this sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi novel, you'd be right. It would be a 10 out of 10, no doubt. No buts about it. In the 1950s, Western scientists had already gained deep insights into nuclear fission reactions, also known as nuclear fusion. They unanimously agreed that this was the very source of the sun's energy, and more broadly, the energy of the stars in the universe. In fact, humans had even managed to recreate a self-sustaining nuclear fusion chain reaction by November 1952. This was demonstrated in the US's S-IV Mike test, a 10.4 megaton hydrogen bomb explosion. Meanwhile, according to Einstein's theory of general relativity, time is a dimension of the universe. It interweaves with the three spatial dimensions to form the fabric of four-dimensional spacetime. This fabric gets distorted and warped by the presence of mass and energy. The greater the mass and energy, the more significant the distortion. When time itself gets distorted, it stretches out. That's why a dad who took a trip near a supermassive black hole came back younger than his own daughter.
You told him I like farming.
It's a wild example of how time can bend and twist in strange ways. It all ties back to speed. The universe has four dimensions, so the faster you move through the three dimensions of space, the slower you move through the dimension of time. But Kozyrev's theory of time offers a simpler take. He believed that time is like the heartbeat of the universe, pulsing with a special kind of energy, something he called time energy. This energy interacts with matter and space, playing a crucial role in the existence of the universe. Kozyrev envisioned time as having a structure with dense nodes, sparse regions, and flows that could speed up, slow down, or even rewind like a tape in a VCR. In his imagination, time was like the engine of the cosmos, with time, energy spinning galaxies, pushing planets around the sun, and heating stars so they shine. And if you're really buying into Kozyrev's ideas, then you'd have to believe that time energy is behind everything. From the formation of storms and the growth of trees to the division of every single cell in your body. Even though it sounds quite appealing, Kozyrev's theory was dismissed and eventually faded into obscurity. That is, until the late 20th century when two scientists, Vladimir Kazantsev and Alexander Trofimov, decided to bring Kozyrev's ideas to life. They built a bizarre device, made from a long sheet of aluminum twisted into a cylindrical Fibonacci spiral. Aluminum was chosen because it seemed to have the strongest reaction to time energy. The reflective nature of aluminum, combined with the spiral shape, was believed to focus this time radiation. Much like how we use mirrors to concentrate light, anything or anyone placed at the center of this spiral would experience a similar effect, except with time instead of light. The concentrated time energy was said to amplify, affecting the space within and around the spiral, creating an environment where the flow of time could be manipulated. Imagine speeding up to race into the future, or rewinding to revisit the past, something like that. For those inside the spiral, it was believed they could actually witness the past. Kozyrev envisioned time as a river, with us drifting along its current. But if we wanted, we could paddle faster toward the future or row upstream to revisit the past. In a space dense with time energy, this flow would even influence the human brain and consciousness. Participants in the experiment all reported feeling an eerie sense of fear near and inside the device. Anyone who approached it couldn't help but feel an overwhelming dread, a kind of pressure that was almost tangible, yet hard to put into words. In some experiments involving the Kozyrev mirror, subjects claimed that their intuition seemed heightened, even to the point of experiencing telepathy. In the book Cosmic Consciousness of Humanity by Kazantsev and Trofimov, there are even accounts of participants increasing their IQ scores and recovering from illnesses after sitting inside the Kozyrev mirror. But unfortunately, the Kozyrev mirror shares the same fate as the life of its creator, the late Soviet scientist. It was full of promise, but ultimately went nowhere. The device was initially built on a theory that was later discredited. 15 years of imprisonment and isolation from the scientific community left Kozyrev out of touch. The substance of time he believed flowed through all of us is something modern science has never found, and of course, doesn't recognize. The mysterious phenomena reported inside the Kozyrev mirror couldn't be consistently replicated, as one would expect from a scientific experiment. Today, Kozyrev's time theory is no longer recognized, and the Kozyrev mirror remains a controversial device. Is it just an outdated idea from a once promising scientist who was cut off from the world for a decade? Or could it be that centuries from now, this idea will resurface and gain recognition, forcing us all to write apology letters to him, just like his observations of the moon? What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments below. As always, if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell to stay informed every day. And with that, goodbye and see you next time.